At my birthday party, he said I wasn't the one for him, so I left. Now he's apologizing daily. I had been looking forward to my 28th birthday for months. My closest friends were flying in from all over the country, and Ethan, my boyfriend of nearly 3 years, promised me it would be special. We had rented out a charming bistro in the heart of the city, just enough to feel intimate, but not too grand to feel like we were putting on a show. Everything felt right. Everything should have felt right. The evening began with laughter, clinking glasses, and compliments on my dress. The air was warm with celebration, and as I made my way through the room greeting friends, I couldn't help but smile. Still, something was pulling at me. Ethan, who I'd been with for so long, was acting distant, detached in a way I hadn't seen before. Every time I looked at him, he seemed lost in thought, more focused on the phone in his hand than the people around him. It didn't take long before I couldn't ignore the feeling anymore. Something wasn't right. "Are you okay?" Claire, my best friend, asked as she pulled me away from the conversation with one of my coworkers. She could always tell when something was wrong, and tonight, I couldn't hide it. "I don't know," I said quietly, glancing over at Ethan across the room. He was smiling, laughing with a group of people, but his eyes were too far away, like he wasn't really there. "I think something's up with Ethan." Claire looked over at him too, her brow furrowing. "Is he being weird?" I nodded. "Yeah. He's been acting off for the last couple of weeks. And now, I don't know. He doesn't seem like he even wants to be here." Claire gave me a sympathetic look. "Well, maybe he's just stressed or something. You should talk to him later." I agreed, trying to shake off the unease that was creeping into my chest. I should have listened to my gut then, but instead, I decided to enjoy the rest of the night. We had dinner, the cake came out, and everyone gathered around to sing. For a moment, it felt like everything was falling back into place. But when it was time to cut the cake, Ethan barely spoke a word to me. I had to nudge him to even get him to smile for a photo. That's when it happened. We were standing near the corner of the room, after the cake had been served, and I was sipping on a glass of wine when Ethan suddenly turned to me. His face was pale, and his eyes had a strange intensity to them. He looked almost guilty. "Lex, I need to talk to you," he said, his voice tense. "Now?" I asked, confused by the sudden shift. "It's my birthday, Ethan. Can't it wait?" He shook his head. "No, it can't." My stomach sank. He had never sounded like this before, so serious, so distant. I followed him into a quieter part of the room, away from the crowd, my heart already pounding in my chest. "Okay, what is it?" I asked, trying to hide the worry in my voice. He ran a hand through his hair, looking like he was struggling to find the right words. "I've been thinking about us. A lot. And I think I need to be honest with you, Lex. I don't think we're right for each other." My breath caught in my throat. "What do you mean?" I whispered, the words barely able to escape my lips. "I'm not in love with you, Lex. Not the way I should be," he said, his voice soft but firm, as though he had practiced it. "I care about you. I do. But I don't think you're the one for me. I know this is the worst timing, and I'm sorry about that. But I've been holding this in for too long, and I don't want to keep pretending," he said, his voice shaking slightly now. "I thought I could work through it. I thought I could force myself to feel something I didn't feel, but it's not fair to either of us." I felt a knot in my stomach tighten, a mixture of hurt and disbelief. "So, all this time, you've been faking it? You've been pretending?" Ethan's face twisted in guilt. "No, I didn't fake everything. There were good moments, there were times I really did love you. But somewhere along the way, I stopped being sure. I stopped feeling the way I should. And I think you deserve someone who feels certain about you." I could feel the tears stinging my eyes, but I blinked them away. "How long have you felt this way?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He hesitated. "For a while now. A few months. A few months. My chest felt hollow. My world, which had once seemed so sure and stable, was now a crumbling pile of uncertainty. The man I had built my life with, the person I thought would be there for me forever, had been living a lie. And I had been too blind to see it. I can't believe you're doing this right now, I said, my voice breaking. On my birthday. In front of all our friends. Do you know what this feels like? I didn't want it to happen like this, Lex. I'm sorry, he said quietly, but his voice lacked the urgency I needed. It was almost as if he had already made peace with this decision. I turned away from him, fighting the tears that were now spilling freely. My hands shook as I reached for my purse. I don't think I can stay here, Ethan. I need to get out of here. Lex, wait, he called after me, but I was already walking toward the door, my legs weak and unsteady. I didn't care who saw. I needed to escape. As I stepped outside, the cool night air hit my face, but it did nothing to soothe the burning ache in my chest. I could hear Ethan's voice calling my name, but I didn't turn around. I couldn't. I didn't know where I was going, but I didn't care. I just needed space. I needed to breathe, to think, to process what had just happened. The man I loved, the man I thought I would marry one day, had just told me I wasn't the one for him. The next few days felt like I was trapped in some kind of emotional fog. I didn't want to answer Ethan's calls, didn't want to read his messages, but he kept coming. He kept texting me, calling me, apologizing over and over again. I remember the first message he sent. Lex, I'm so sorry. I never should have said that. I love you, I do. I was confused. Please, just give me a chance to explain. Please. The next day, another text. I can't stop thinking about what I did. I hate myself for it. You mean the world to me, Lex. Please don't leave me. And then another. I was stupid. I should have been honest with you earlier. I've been lying to myself for months, and now I can't imagine my life without you in it. Please, please talk to me. Each message was like a dagger to my heart. Every word he said was filled with guilt, but also with the desperation of someone who had realized too late what he had almost lost. I was torn. Part of me wanted to believe him, wanted to believe that his love for me had always been real. But another part of me, the part that had been left shattered in the wake of his words, couldn't forget what he had said. He had broken me. He had made me question everything. He had made me feel like I wasn't enough, like I wasn't worthy of being the one for him. And I wasn't sure I could ever forgive him for that. The next morning, I woke up with a dull ache in my chest. I could still hear Ethan's voice in my head, the words he said echoing through me, "You're not the one for me." It felt like a knife twisting in my heart, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was somehow not enough. I tried to push it away, but it was there, lingering in the back of my mind as I went through the motions of getting dressed and preparing for the day. I couldn't focus at work, couldn't concentrate on anything except that gut-wrenching moment when he shattered everything I thought we had. I'd been standing by the coffee machine when I felt my phone buzz in my pocket. A message from Ethan. I let out a shaky breath before opening it. Lex, I know I don't deserve it, but please, can we talk? I need to make things right. I can't live with myself knowing I hurt you this way. I stared at the message for a long moment, my thumb hovering over the reply button. Part of me wanted to ignore him. Part of me wanted to let him feel the sting of the silence I had been drowning in for days. But another part of me, a weaker part, wanted to believe that maybe he was sincere. Maybe he truly regretted what he said. I closed my eyes, feeling the weight of my decision. After a long pause, I typed a single reply. I'm not sure what there is to talk about, Ethan. You've already made your feelings clear. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. But seconds later, my phone buzzed again, and a new message from him appeared. Lex, please. I was wrong. I was scared. I've been a fool. I've been running from my feelings because I was afraid of what was real, and now I'm terrified I've lost you. Please, just give me a chance to The pleading tone in his words made my heart ache. It made me feel torn in half. How could someone go from "you're not the one for me" to "please don't leave me" in such a short time? Was he being sincere now? Or was this just another desperate attempt to salvage something he wasn't ready to commit to? I leaned back in my chair, gripping the phone tightly, struggling to control the emotions threatening to overtake me. This was my heart on the line. "I don't know if I can trust you again, Ethan. You hurt me. You made me feel like I wasn't enough, and now you're telling me I am?" The message left my fingers before I could take it back. Immediately, my phone rang. Ethan's name flashing across the screen. I stared at it for a moment, unable to decide whether to answer. What if I let him in again and he hurts me? I thought. But at the same time, I couldn't ignore the voice in my head telling me that maybe he was just afraid of losing me. Finally, I answered. "Lex," Ethan's voice came through, a little shaky, a little desperate. "Please just hear me out. I never should have said what I did. I was stupid, and I regret it every second of the day. I've been trying to understand myself, and I know now that I was wrong about everything." "You weren't wrong about everything," I said quietly, the weight of his words still heavy in my chest. "You told me I wasn't the one for you. That's what broke me, Ethan. That's what I can't get past. How am I supposed to believe that you're telling the truth now?" "I know I messed up," he said, his voice low and full of regret. "I was afraid. I was afraid of not being good enough for you, of not living up to the person you thought I was. But that's not your fault. You've always been there, Lex, always believed in me when I couldn't even believe in myself. And I threw that away. I threw you away." I pressed my fingers to my forehead, the tears I had been holding back finally starting to fall. "Why did you wait until now to tell me this? Why didn't you just talk to me before all of this happened? We could have worked through it. We always work through things." "I didn't want to hurt you, Lex," he said, his voice pleading. "I thought if I kept pretending, it would go away. But it didn't. And I know now that by pretending, I've hurt you even more. I don't understand, Ethan," I said, my voice cracking. "You made me feel like I wasn't good enough. You made me feel like I didn't matter, like I wasn't the person you wanted to spend your life with. How do you fix something like that?" "I don't know if I can fix it, but I swear I'll spend every day trying," he said quickly. "I can't lose you, Lex. I've been an idiot. I see that now. I don't want to live in a world where you're not in it." The words were sincere, but the pain in my chest felt like it was suffocating me. "Ethan, I'm not sure I can just forget what you said. I don't know if I can trust you again. Trust takes time, and you shattered mine in an instant." I know, and I don't blame you for not trusting me. But I'll prove it to you. I'll do whatever it takes to show you how sorry I am. Please just don't give up on me. Don't give up on us." I let out a shaky breath, wiping my eyes. "I don't even know if I can want to give us another chance, Ethan. I feel so lost right now. I don't know who you are anymore. I don't know who I am in this relationship. All I know is that the person I thought I knew isn't the same person who told me he wasn't the one." "I was wrong," he repeated, his voice almost breaking now. "I was so wrong. I love you, Lex. I always have. And I swear I'll make it right. I'll spend the rest of my life making it right." I remained silent for a long moment, my mind reeling with everything he'd just said. Could I forgive him? Could I find it in myself to trust him again, after everything? "I need time, Ethan," I finally whispered, the words tasting bitter on my tongue. "I need time to think. I need to figure out who I am without you. Because I don't even know anymore." "I understand," he said softly. "Take all the time you need. I'll be here, waiting for you, because I know you're the one for me. And I won't give up on us." And with that, I ended the call. For the first time in days, I felt a little lighter. The decision hadn't been easy, and it still wasn't clear. But for now, I needed space. Space to heal. Space to think. Maybe, just maybe, we could find a way back to each other. But that would take time. Time I wasn't sure I could give him, or myself. But for now, it was all I had. And I wasn't going to rush it. Not anymore.